Hey everyone, I come on here briefly because I want to discuss a topic that's been on my heart, and I am super excited to talk about it as we have been in discussion in my free 10-step e-guide on how to date effectively. We've been talking about different traits. We've also been talking about different qualities as well as setting expectations. So I want to talk about a very toxic trait this evening and to be vigilant and aware if someone carries this trait. Before we begin, I want to just thank everyone who has had an opportunity to review our free 10-step e-guide on how to date effectively. I truly, truly appreciate all the support, all of the feedback that I have been provided so far. We hope and pray that this has been very insightful for you as well as encouraging during your process. We did a few videos on our steps. We did step one, step two, step four. From there, we just had different spin-offs and whatever God has placed on my heart, we have been discussing. The videos are currently available on YouTube as well as our website at www.ourfaithconnects.com. If you are interested in getting a copy of our free 10-step e-guide, it is currently available on our website. Once you input your email, we'll go ahead and send you over a free copy. Tonight, I want to talk about obsession. Okay, obsession. As you guys know, it's a very toxic trait, and we need to be aware of the times, the seasons, and the characteristics and behaviors of someone who is obsessed. But before we even talk about obsession, I do just want to briefly discuss our last video where we talked about the absolutes and unrealistic expectations. Do believe that that video will bless you. If you had not had an opportunity to review it or watch it, it is on YouTube, The Favor on a Woman and the List. We talk about unrealistic expectations, setting expectations, as well as compromising, especially in today's time. We want to know, is it okay to compromise in certain areas? When to keep an expectation, especially our core expectations, and when it's just deemed unrealistic? There are moments where it's absolute, always having to be, never having, and it's just not realistic at all. That video will truly bless you. So I highly, highly recommend go ahead and watch that video. Currently available on YouTube. Tonight, we're going to talk about obsession. Okay. I'm not sure if you've ever dealt with anyone who was obsessed over you or have experienced obsession, but it's something that we must be very, very mindful of. We live in a world where there are many obsessive people, many obsessive characteristics and behaviors and patterns, and we need to be vigilant. So obsession is a toxic trait where people consistently think about you. They constantly think about you, monitor you, and want to know everything about you. They want to know everything. They tend to place you before their own life, and they do not feel functional without knowing everything regarding you, including your whereabouts. So there's some people that want to keep tabs on you. They want to know where you are, who you're connected with, what you're talking about all day long. 24/7, you're on their mind, you're on their heart, right? And so we got to be mindful of those who may be obsessed with you. And there are different reasons why people are obsessed, and we're going to talk about it tonight. The attention they provide can be wanted or unwanted. In today's society, there are some people who find obsession as an attractive trait because they see it as a form of affection, which is unhealthy and is corruptive view of the trait. So there's some people who think it's attracting. Oh, they just like me. Oh, they're just showing their affection. No, it's something that we need to be very vigilant and cognizant about because it can actually lead into dangers and can leave some seriously hurt after the long run. It may be cute now to you, but it might not be cute later, right? So never should we ever tolerate anyone's obsession over us. We need to be aware and vigilant of the signs that they show when it comes to obsession, how they decide to show up, what they decide to say, and being aware of the reasons why someone would want to be obsessed. There are different reasons why an obsession can form, but they should never be ignored or downplayed. There are moments in life where we downplay all the wrong things, the things that we should be focusing on, prioritizing, being made aware of, and observing, we downplay like it's not a big deal until it's no longer able to be tamed. Obsession is one of those things where we should not take it lightly at all. There are also patterns and behaviors that should be observed so you are aware of the signs and do not fall victim into the hands of an obsessor. You don't want to fall into their traps, into their obsession. In the mind of an obsessor, the more access they have to you, the more it feeds their obsession for you. So the more they know, the more it feeds their craving of you. Whatever the reasoning is behind the obsession, there's obsession to love, obsession to hate, obsession to hurt. Okay, there's different reasons why people obsess. What we do need to know is that people who are obsessive, they are not mentally well, they're very unstable, and they tend to fight constant mind battles. A lot of times it's battles within self. It's a mind battle within their own mind. If you, to any degree, find obsessing attracting, and you have to ask yourself, why? What is the void? What is the issue? Why do you find someone who is obsessing over you attracting? Do you have any neglect or rejection issues? Why would you find someone to obsess over you an attractive trait? That is something that you have to evaluate. In dating, it should be unacceptable behavior, and we should be very mindful not to ignore it. Here are 8 different signs of obsession. Number 1, stalking. This is big. If you actually look at the statistics of how many people are stalked daily, it will surprise you. Following others, harassment, including cyber stalking, using electronic devices through social, stalking profiles, or family trees, which is also a criminal offense, right? That is one way that you know someone has obsessive traits, by way of stalking, always on someone's profile, always looking, lurking, trying to find or know something or pull information about someone. 2, multiple phone calls and texts back to back to back, leaving no room to respond. 50 missed calls, including private ones. Ever looked at your phone and you see like, what's going on? Why does this person keep calling me over and over and over, where you have to change your number or you have to block them because they constantly call you or they constantly message you without room for you to respond? It is a sign of obsession. What do you need to talk about where you have to contact the person so many times? I was actually reading an article about someone who was arrested for contacting someone over like 59,000 times. Next, always needing whereabouts, demanding location, or going to locations unannounced without notice or ask. All of a sudden, this person's at your location. You're trying to figure out how they even know, right? Always need to know where you are at all times is a sign of obsession. Next, overly affectionate, loving to death, or doing anything in the name of love. There's people that will tell you, like, I love you to death. No. You want to be mindful of anyone that loves you to death. Because what does that really mean? What does that truly entail? Or just doing anything in the name of love. I'll do anything for you. Willing to lose self just by the name of love. They'll lose everything just for love. So they're overly affectionate. So we have to be mindful of those who are overly affectionate, where they'll do anything. They'll lose their self. They'll remove all morals, principles, values just by the name of love. That shows some obsession. Impulsive behaviors, behaving erratically on the strength of liking someone, such as unwanted responses to you laughing or enjoying the company of the opposite sex, or the liking of a picture on social media, responding without understanding or context. Very jealous behavior, impulsive, reacting automatically because of their jealousy. Nosy, needing to know everything about someone, attempting to pry information or learn everything about them, even if it's by an outside, unreliable source. So there's people that will just pry and pry and pry, trying to find everything, trying to gather information, trying to research, even if it's unreliable, just on the strength or the comfort of feeling as if they know something about you. They're nosy. Next, double-mindedness, very indecisive in decision making, and willingness to go over the edge to obsess. So you don't even know the measures that someone will go to obsess over you. Some people will create fake profiles, alias names, create fake numbers just to watch others. Also, indecisiveness. They love you, then they don't. They need you, then they don't. They want you, then they don't, right? Just double-mindedness, no stability at all. It shows obsession because they can't even make up their mind about you. Next, language, what they say, threats after separation. If I can't have you, then no one can. General threats, even self-harm threats. I'm going to hurt myself because you don't want to be with me, right? Things that we need to be vigilant about and mindful of. Here are some signs of obsession. Of course, there's a list that can go on and on and on, but to keep this video brief, I did just want to talk about those 8 ways. So if you see that to any degree, we should be mindful of it. People who allow their obsessions or emotions to rule, they have no self-control and they have no limitations on the measures they can go. So anyone who's obsessing over you and it's not tamed or controlled, there's no limits on where they will go with their obsession for you, whether it to be in your proximity or to know everything about you or just to be around you. There's no limits to the measures they would go. If you ever see that someone's obsessing over you, you should be alert and alarmed around them and in their presence. They can have an obsession to love, an obsession to hate, an obsession to control, an obsession to hurt you. There are some people who have an obsession to harm others. I mean, they'll go to their wits' end to try to destroy a life of someone they don't know. They will not end. They don't stop because they have such an obsession to see you down. It's a crave in them. It gives them excitement to see someone else down. So they'll go to their wits' end just to hurt someone else. Whether it's to lie, to deceive, to cause corruption, confusion, to cause harm, to bring harm in people's way. They're obsessed. They see you happy, they see you joyous, they see that you're in a good mood, they see that you're doing good for yourself, and they just can't stand it. So they then create an obsession to hurt you because you're always so happy. You're always doing good for yourself. You're always staying afloat. You always have peace and a sound mind, and they hate it. So there are some people who would actually obsess to hurt. There's different ways of obsession, so it's not always just love. There's different obsessions, and we have to be aware of that as well. I did list 8 reasons why someone would act on their obsession. Okay, there's different reasons now where someone will act on it. We talked about the different signs of someone who is obsessed. They can't stop thinking about you all day, 24/7. You're on their mind. And now we're going to talk about the different ways that people can act on their obsession and why they would. 1, control. The dominance of controlling someone's life and whereabouts by way of harassment and bringing discomfort to their victim or lover. So there's people that want to bring discomfort, so they stalk, they harass, they continue to try to bring tension. Depending on the intensity level of the obsession and way to control their connections by isolation. So there's people that want to control their victim. They want to control their lover. So they obsess over them. They're always in their presence. They're always at their whereabouts. They're always bothering them 24/7. 2, disbelief. The fight of disbelief and inability to accept the reality of a dynamic. So there are some people who obsess because they cannot come to terms with reality. The unwillingness to accept the present circumstance as the reality. This is the reality, especially in the terms of separation. You'll see when there may be a divorce taking place or a separation of a relationship, there is one of them on the opposing end of the separation. They're in disbelief that they're actually separating, so they start to obsess. They'll do everything to tear the person down. They talk about them all the time. They obsess over them all the time. They're doing everything in their power to try to break that person. So people will act on their obsession because they're in disbelief of reality. They can't accept reality. This is reality. Number three, fears. There may be some underlying fears that enhances the obsession. The fear of not having, right? So separation, the fear of not having someone, the fear of lack, the fear of being left, the fear of change in outcomes, the fear of exposure, the fear of truth. So there's some people that fear exposure, so they obsess in hopes that it never comes out. So this is the reason why people will act on their fear, on their obsession because of their fears. They scared. So it's a panic. So they obsess. They constantly want to know what that person's talking about. They constantly want to know what that person's doing. They constantly want to know what that person is up to. They constantly want to know who that person's around. They're fearful. So they obsessed. Oh, who are they talking to now? They're scared. Number four, insecurities. The insecurities of not being enough and wanting to control the narratives by way of access, including trust issues. Trust issue insecurities, right? So there are times when people have insecurities. There's a void, there's a lack within self, or just not feeling good enough. So they want to control the narratives by way of being excessive. So they'll obsess, they'll contact, they'll continue to outreach because they're insecure. So they feel like, oh, well, if they're not talking to me, then they're cheating or they're talking to someone else. There's insecurities there. So they tend to obsess. Number five, lust. Sexual immorality and fetishes can cause those to lust after others and not leave people alone, feeding the flesh or over excitement of the flesh, right? So there are some people who obsess because of their lustful desires. We got to be mindful of those type of people as well. Number six, wicked intent, targeted missions and goals by harassing. There was intended goals before the obsession began. Before they even started the obsession, they already had a goal that they wanted to accomplish. I'm going to get this person to like me, so I'm going to do everything. I'm going to obsess over them. Number seven, delusion. They believe their obsession of someone is working and it's potentially luring them into the intended goal. So there are some people who believe a lie, they live in a lie, so they believe if they obsess over someone, then that will make them like them. They work overtime. So delusion. Number eight, mimicking. And this was a bonus one I added because it is one that we should also just be aware of when people want to mimic everything that someone else does. They mimic what they say, they mimic their mannerisms, they mimic how they dress. They lack authenticity that show self-identity lack. So they lack self-identity, so they want to be just like this person. They want to talk just like that person. They want to act just like that person. They want to move just like that person. Just no self-identity at all. So someone who obsesses, you'll find them mimicking what someone else does to the T. I mean, there's just no authenticity at all. They mimic everything. Okay, so I did want to talk about this toxic trait because it is something that we should be aware of. As we talk about traits and characteristics of people, qualities, values, this is a trait that we must be aware that some people carry. Some people don't like to be told no. Some people don't like separation. Some people don't like to always be in control, and they start to obsess. We must acknowledge that obsession is never acceptable and should never be entertained at all. So once you are aware that someone is obsessing over you or show signs of obsession, we are to be alarmed, we are to be alert, and we are to disconnect. Once it has been identified that someone is obsessed, that is the sign to limit access and the amount of information you share with them, including other relationships. Because the reality of it is, the more you share with someone that is obsessing over you, the more ammo you give them to obsess to whatever reason they are obsessing over you. It could be obsession to hate, obsession to harm. You're giving them the ammo because you gave them access to you. You let them know too much information. So we got to be mindful once we are aware that someone is obsessed with you, that you no longer give them access or ties to you at all. The more they know, the more they will use that to obsess or to destroy, whatever the intent is or their obsession. Obsessors will try to damage other relationships and weaken them by trying to take up all your time. So there are some obsessions where they just want to be around you 24/7, given no leeway to build other relationships, to connect with new people, or to strengthen the relationships that you already have. They want to be around you all the time. They want to take up all your time because they want to damage the other relationships. You ever seen someone in a relationship and they're like, man, every time you get a new man, you start to act different, or every time you get a new man, I never see you anymore. I haven't even talked to her in months, years, ever since she got that new man, right? There are some people, goal is to take you away from your friendships, take you away from your family, take you away from your loved ones. They want to take up all your time. And it's a form of obsession because they don't want you around anyone. They don't want you to laugh with anyone. They don't want you to engage in conversation with anyone. They just want you to themselves. And that is unhealthy. It is very unhealthy, and we need to be aware of it because it may be cute to you now, but it won't always be cute in the long run. There are some type of obsessions that end in fertility, it ends in fate. It's fatal. Right? So let's be mindful and aware of the times that we live in and the type of people that we connect with. And it can be obsession in dating, obsession in friendships, people that are around you, they're obsessed with you as well. Okay. So I pray that this discussion has been a blessing to you as it has been a blessing to me. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. We will continuously have new and upcoming videos in which we discuss more topics, and we're just going to continue to go with the flow, however God decides to lead us. May you guys be blessed and encouraged tonight. Thanks, everyone.